Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, so today we're diving straight into something I know a lot of you have been asking for, the completely realistic, zero BS guide to building serious lower arm strength and size. Let's be real, if you're sick of doing endless random wrist curls and seeing absolutely zilch for growth, you are definitely in the right place.
Because man, we all know the feeling, right? Your biceps are finally popping, you catch that insane pump in the gym mirror, but then, the second you throw on a normal t-shirt, it's just game over. Suddenly your forearms look like limp noodles hanging out of your sleeves, completely ruining the illusion that you actually lift. It's wildly frustrating. But fixing this noodle arm problem doesn't mean you have to practically live in the gym.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover the forearm cheat code, hit a quick genetic reality check, talk about growing the brachioradialis, fixing those stubborn flexors and extensors, building an unbreakable grip, and finally laying out a truly realistic workout plan for you.
Let's kick things off with part 1, the forearm cheat code.
Look, forearms are the ultimate physique cheat code. They really are. Much like a thick neck, they're one of the very few muscle groups that are virtually always visible. Even if your upper arms aren't exactly massive yet, slapping some meat on your forearms instantly makes your whole arm look thicker. And the coolest part? If you train them right, those veins are going to pop like road maps, even if you aren't walking around at some crazy low body fat percentage. They just naturally scream power.
But hey, it's not all about the aesthetics. This is about practical, real-world performance. Imagine you're mid-set, right? You're crushing it. Your back feels incredible, and then boom, your forearms are absolutely on fire. Your grip just dies and the bar starts slipping out of your fingers like a wet fish. And just like that, your set is over before your main muscles even got a chance to fatigue. Your forearms are literally the bridge between your total bodily strength and the physical weight you're moving. Stronger forearms mean a stronger grip, and that directly translates into instantly better pull-ups, heavier deadlifts, and stronger rows. Every single pulling movement just gets easier.
Moving right into part 2, the genetic reality check.
Okay, so just like calves, we have to face facts here. Forearm size is heavily influenced by your DNA. Specifically, it boils down to your bone length and your muscle insertions. And if you're wondering what insertions are, they're basically just the specific biological anchor points on your bones where your muscles actually attach. These anchor points dictate your ultimate visual ceiling for growth. This divide is absolutely fascinating. Basically, if you have long muscle bellies, congratulations, you've essentially won the genetic lottery. Your muscles naturally have way more room to grow, making it significantly easier to get that thick, full, meaty look. But if you're rocking short muscle bellies, your forearms just might not ever get massive. The visual pop won't be as huge. But wait, before you get mad and throw your dumbbells across the gym, relax. This doesn't mean you can't grow them at all. It just means your progress is going to look a bit different. Think highly defined, incredibly veiny, and exceptionally strong, rather than purely huge. It's all about keeping your expectations realistic.
All right, part 3, growing the brachioradialis.
So if you want your arms to look genuinely powerful, the brachioradialis is the MVP doing about 90% of the visual heavy lifting. It sits right on the top part of your forearm, super close to your elbow, and it possesses the absolute highest hypertrophy or growth potential of the entire forearm squad. And no, despite sounding like a Jurassic Park extra, it is definitely not a dinosaur.
The problem is, a lot of guys will spend months doing basic, standard wrist curls, which target muscles with super low growth potential, and then they sit around wondering why they aren't seeing any size gains. Well, to effectively target this high-growth brachioradialis, you simply need to use neutral or pronated grips. Hammer curls are an amazing go-to. You can use dumbbells, a cable rope, or a machine, just as long as your palms are facing each other. But honestly, the absolute cheat code here is the reverse curl. It hits the brachioradialis incredibly hard while simultaneously firing up your wrist extensors. It's a hugely underrated movement that you can easily sneak right into your standard biceps day.
Which brings us to part 4, wrist flexors and extensors.
You know that sharp, nagging sting you occasionally get right in the elbow during heavy curls or bench presses? Yeah, it's probably not just generic fatigue. It's an imbalance. Whenever there's a strength imbalance between the muscles that flex your wrist and the ones that extend it, your elbows end up paying the price. Weak extensors lead to tennis elbow, while weak flexors lead to golfer's elbow. Truthfully, there is no need to pick a favorite here, because both are absolutely agonizing and will totally ruin your workouts. But the great news, they are highly fixable over time.
Now, let's be totally realistic here. Working these specific flexor and extensor muscles won't suddenly turn you into an anime character. They don't have crazy growth potential. But doing slow, controlled wrist roller exercises is highly practical for saving your elbows and keeping you totally pain-free so you can keep on lifting heavy. You literally just grab one of those sticks with a rope and a weight attached, keep your elbows slightly bent and tucked close to your body, and roll. Roll it upward to hit the extensors, and roll it downward for the flexors. Just please do not hold your arms straight out in front of you like you're trying to fly, or you're going to completely fry your front delts before your forearms even feel a thing.
Moving on to part 5, building unbreakable grip. If you want to truly maximize this strength-to-gains pipeline, you can use classic spring-loaded grippers pretty much anywhere. Leave them at your desk at work, squeeze them while you're watching videos on the couch, or hey, even keep them in the bathroom for some ultimate daily gains optimization. They might look like little toys, but trust me, they burn like hell. Alternatively, you can grab some cheap, fat grips and snap them right onto your barbell. They're just thick rubber sleeves that make the bar way harder to hold, which instantly turns your standard pulling movements into an autopilot grip workout. Just be smart about it. Don't overuse them, or your entire back day will accidentally turn into a forearms-only day.
Now, if you want a wonderfully weird but highly effective old-school alternative, I present to you the rice bucket method. Yep, you grab a literal bucket, fill it to the brim with dry rice, and dig your hands deep into it like you're searching for buried treasure. You just twist, claw, squeeze, and open your hands against the resistance of the rice in every possible direction. Look, I know it sounds a little crazy, but it builds insane, deep grip and wrist strength that translates beautifully to your heavy lifting.
Finally, part 6, your realistic workout plan.
Okay, let's pull this all together into a highly practical setup. You're basically just going to alternate between workout 1 and workout 2. You kick off workout 1 with 4 sets of 10 to 20 reps of hammer curls to really target that brachioradialis for a dense 3D look. Then hit your wrist rollers, 3 sets rolling up, 3 sets rolling down, to balance everything out and bulletproof those elbows. Finish it all off with some heavy grip work using either the grippers or your trusty rice bucket. For workout 2, it is the exact same structure, but you just swap out the hammer curls for reverse curls. It is incredibly simple, super fast, and totally actionable.
So how often should you actually be doing this? Well, start by hitting them just 2 times a week to let your body get used to the new localized workload. But here's the really amazing thing about forearms. They recover crazy fast. Once your recovery is solid and your body adapts, you can safely crank this up to 3 or honestly, even 4 times a week. I know it sounds like total overkill, but your forearms can actually handle that high frequency better than almost any other muscle group in your entire body.
But remember this one absolutely crucial rule. You do not need to go full strongman mode and try to throw your wrists into orbit with massive, heavy weights. Perfect form beats ego lifting every single time. You've got to focus entirely on strict form, a full range of motion, and maintaining deep, agonizing tension rather than just worrying about the sheer amount of weight you're holding. That is how you actually stimulate real, realistic growth without completely destroying your joints in the process.
So, to wrap this up, we established earlier that genetics definitely set your ultimate limits. Your DNA completely dictates your visual ceiling. However, your consistency determines if you will ever actually get anywhere near that ceiling. It's time for a realistic gut check. Are you going to keep blaming your biological insertions for those noodle arms, or are you finally going to stop skipping your forearm sets? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go grab that rice bucket and get to work.